So it's new bike day, and I am at the base of the north face of Ben Nevis, and in the foreground is my brand new e-bike from Deviate called the Kurgan. Let's have a little look at it. So yeah, there it is in all its glory, the long awaited, or for me anyway, Deviate Kurgan. It is a full fat, full power, heavyweight e-bike aimed at the enduro end of the scale. So we have a Bosch Gen 5 motor, an 800 watt hour battery fitted. It's a mullet with 180mm travel at the front and 165mm travel at the rear. It is essentially a e-bike powered version of the Claymore, although arguably a bit better in some ways, which we'll get into in a minute. You may notice that it has quite a fancy design on it, and this is a one-off unique design for me in particular. I would have been happy with one of the factory colours, but Deviate wanted my bike to stand out, so they got me talking to a man called Neil Keating, an illustrator down in Liverpool, and I basically just said I wanted it to be quite Scottish. I wanted it to represent the mountains, and I was quite keen on having topography lines. So that's exactly what he did, and everything you see here, apart from the Deviate sticker and the Brew sticker, he drew with a marker pen. So it does look a little bit like a cow from a distance, and I understand Neil went for he wanted a pattern. And actually, I think it looks really, really cool. But when you get a bit closer, you will see that these are mountains. This one, roughly, is the Sullivan. It's quite a long, elongated mountain up in the northwest. And I figured that would go in the top tube really well. So he's kind of done that. And then just, all the details. I mean, you could look at this for a very long time, looking at all the cool details. What I do like is I asked them to do locks at the water bottle mounts, and that's what he did as well. So just a really, really cool, striking and unique design. And it's not quite what I had in mind, but then again, the image I had in my head might not have worked in reality, and I trust that Neil has done the best job to make it look cool. Also, for anyone that doesn't know, the national animal of Scotland is a unicorn, and there's a funky little unicorn on the front with the McTrail written right at the bottom there. So yeah, cool design. I'm really happy with it. So it's the Bosch Gen 5 motor, 800 watt hour battery. You can run a range extender right here with this other, where I've got a fidlock mount. But also if you undo this bolt and the one on the other side, you can actually drop out the battery from the top tube. And you just swivel this bash plate open. So I could actually change this out right now and go even further. Thankfully, to get to this point here, I've actually used very, very little battery, not even 30%, and I was being greedy. So that's really, really cool. So you can run 600 watt hours, 800 watt hours, or 1050, and with all those options, you can just have a spare battery as well. So the freedom and the options that it gives you for going way into the wilderness and having proper adventures is damn near unlimited. Damn, it looks good. Once we're on design, when I went to build this bike in at Deviate, Barry was in, and Barry seen it had an Brew bottle, and he said, I can show you a trick. So this is basically invisiframed over just the label of a plastic Brew bottle, and I think it looks really cool. I'm going to get something going the other way on the piggyback as well, but it really goes with the colour theme and the Scotland theme of this bike. So suspension platform, I went RockShox front and rear. So this is not an Brew shock, this is actually a RockShox Vivid Air Ultimate, and I have the Zeb Ultimate on the front. Honestly blown away by this suspension. I'm a big fan of the suppleness on the initial part of the stroke, and of all the suspension I've tried so far, these provide the most supple initial stroke that I've tried so far, and it just equals grip. The actual suspension platform on the rear is a step away from the single pivot, the linkage driven single pivot of the previous Deviates. As you can see, the idler wheel is mounted separate. It's mounted to the front triangle and not the rear swing arm. And actually, got a little mini link here and a little mini link here, and that forms a virtual pivot point. So it is a VPP. It's basically what Santa Cruz said they couldn't do, and the reason why Santa Cruz can't do it is because they mount their shock through the seat post, seat tube, actually like Deviate used to. But Chris has changed it up so that the shock is up there, and it basically means that he has much more control and manipulation over the suspension kinematics, and I think it's got less anti-rise when you put the brakes on, so the suspension remains more active. All in all, it's just a really, really good design, and it actually feels better than the Claymore does, although there is obviously the weight of the e-bike, so I don't know exactly what counts for what, but it feels amazing. So whilst we're at the bottom here, we'll go to the components. You can see I've got some pinned cranks, 155mm. This is a Scottish company. I was quite keen to run something again with the Scottish theme. The pedals I'm going to replace, they're the fun pedals. They're really low profile, but they're actually quite old. I'm going to put some Burgtech pedals on. They just haven't quite arrived yet. Drivetrain, actually, I've went for the Shimano Link Glide, the 11-speed cheapest group set, and actually a lot of people use these for e-bikes. I've got a wire and everything, so it's super basic, super cheap, but really dependable, so I'm really happy with that. Most of these components came from 2020 Bikes. They are one of my sponsors. Well, them and Deviate. Deviate provided the frame and I bought the suspension through them, but everything else I bought through 2020. And 2020 specialise in, or Mike specialises in making good wheels, and actually there's the 2020 logo on my Hope Pro 5s, e-bike specific, and he's laced them onto DT Swiss EX511 rims. Just a really good combo of strength and weight and reliability. The tyre is brand new because I destroyed the other tyre. This bike has done a few weeks work already, but I've got the Schwalbe Albert, and that's the gravity casing, and it's the new radial tyre. I've only done a very little bit of riding with this tyre, but it is incredible and I'm really, really happy with it. At the front, same build on the wheels, but it's a Cryptotal. This is what I also had in the rear, the Continental, but I destroyed it. And yeah, onto the seat tube. It's a 1UP Components 240mm drop. What I like about Deviates is they run 34.9mm seat tubes, so you can get a good fat, strong dropper post in. I've got the Synchros Belcara V2 seat. I find this really, really comfortable. Not initially, but over a long period of time it doesn't get any more uncomfortable, so it's a good setup. Brakes are my SRAM Code RSCs off of the Claymore. I did have Hopes on, and you will see and hear them in a few videos coming up, because well, that's what I had initially, but the noise just became too much and I had to change them over. I've got a cool little tail fin bag here that just carries my inner tube and a couple of other essential spares that I kind of just want to have on the bike at all times. And what I don't have in there, I have the multi-tool and everything inside that pump, and obviously it's a pump as well. Cockpit wise, I went for my usual Burgtech 35mm clamp stem, and then the alloy bars. I went for the PT's grips. These are the thick ones, although I think I'll be changing them because I now get hand pump when I never used to with my Ergon GA2 fat grips, so I'm probably going to change them back round. And this Gen 5 Bosch motor actually comes with a Kiox 400C display, and using the remote here you can just cycle through all the different information. And when I link it to the app on my phone, I can actually get navigation through this as well. Furthermore, USB-C charging port, which is really quite handy. So yeah, I really enjoy that actually. It's quite neat and fun. Right, so that was the overview of the Kurgan. Now I have my full face helmet on and I've brought myself just around the corner to the Nevis range, and I'm going to do the Top Chief Trail. And I'm not going to say much, I just hope that you will be able to see and also hear, as in like the silence of the bike, like how capable it is going down what is a very, very chunky trail. So let's see if that pans out. And run away. go. Top Chief on the Kurgan. Unbelievably good. Loving it.